welcome once again into today's urgency meeting about resilience. This is also the open journal, the public ledger, the blockchain of resilience, meaning it can't be duplicated or corrupted. This is a genuine, unfettered transaction on resilience between you and I. It's open to all of us, especially to those we love and choose to share our own resilience with. I'm guaranteeing you once again, this discussion, 820 about resilience, will change your perspective on this present moment. As always, in most of my presentations to you in the previous podcast episodes, I always usually raise more questions and probably rarely give you even any indication of an answer. Yes, by nature, yes, by design, and yes, that is the purpose of how I'm communicating to you my experiences on this journey towards resilience. So today's topic is in that vein and on that theme. So today's topic is called, What Do You Do? What do you do? Now, if someone asks you that, certainly you can launch into a recitation, a summary, your CV, or your resume. You could detail and outline your certifications or your degrees. But I think instead of that question, say it was in a business setting or even at a social happy hour with people you don't know, but it seems festive and nice and creative. Instead of someone asking you, hey, what do you do? Maybe for you and I going forward, we should ask the question of someone we don't know, what drives you? Is a better question. They're not trying to distill or define you or put you in a box. Really, I think that kind of question, what drives you, as an opening question, is much better than asking you, what do you do? And certainly, you can cite past exploits or apparent successes and failures and lessons. That'd be an interesting cocktail hour conversation. But also, when you ask that question, you answer it, what do? You tend to remain more private and protective of you and your message and your purpose, given that opening volley of an interrogation or an inquisition. But in conversations and in random meetings, you can do that. But you may have or feel the courtesy or necessity to provide a brief to those questions who may have that inquiry. So when people ask you, what do? You keep it brief and concise, especially with those you don't know and haven't discerned their genuine, original, and curious, if it exists, interest in you and in that question, what do you do? So we'll go with that approach for now as a baseline, being protective of what you're asked until you discern the genuineness and the depth of that question. But I'm asking you also to know who and what you are, know your purpose, know your direction, your drive, your desire, your message. But on that statement, that opening question, what do you do? There's no need for a dissertation or volumes of information about yourself in response to that kind of inquiry, because you have no idea where that discussion is going. Now, of course, if you're comfortable with your list of degrees and schools you've been to and exploits in the world, great. But if you can consider just the shallowness of that question from someone you don't know, and for you to just regurgitate, oh, this is what I do, how great I am. Good. Be proud of yourself, but be careful. Before answering that question, take a breath or two and consider the intent of their inspection of you and your work. They will push back on their heels as they attempt to size you up and rack and stack you in their judgment of your importance or value to them. When you answer that question, what do you do? That really should be the very least of your concern or interest or value in this empty inquisition. So consider this approach. Not to be coy or distant or evasive, just to remind yourself, which is even harder for me at the beginning of any engagement, reminding myself to love everyone as the baseline, not as the resistance or concern this could go a different way, but start that with yourself. As you commit to continuing your self-discovery that requires no affirmation or confirmation or validation from those who may pose those type of happy hour or loud bar discussions or questions like, what do you do to you? You can at least consider countering that, addressing it, but also countering that with the thought of what's driving them for that question. And when you get a chance, ask them that question. What drives you? Not what do you do, what drives you? So anyway, I want to leave you with that idea to observe and to consider. Answer with enough integrity and independence and clarity that will serve to distill genuine interest for conversation instead of just passing coffee table talk. So, you might be asking, Ming, what do you do, Ming? I can answer that question. Although I prefer to answer the question, what drives me? But in answering your question to me, what do I do? I'll tell you this. I solve problems without providing answers. That's what I do. Period. If you're genuinely curious and want to know more, then we have something of common interest to talk about. But see, it's not meant to give you a full-blown statement about bachelor's this, master's that, certifications that, and combat stuff. No. Even as an analyst, as a engineer by trade, what I really do at the end of the day, I solve problems without providing answers. That is what 820 podcast is about. That's what the book Resilience, the Beauty of Presence is about. So, if that makes sense to you, gives you more interest in listening more to me and us maybe finally meeting, we have something more in that common area to talk about. But until then, stay present, stay current, and remember, it's always 820.